are live. We are live. I'm here with Phantasm 420. How are you doing today?
Very, very good. Thank you. It's a super busy weekend, but I couldn't miss this. So I'm super happy.
Yeah, it's a crazy weekend. I don't know what everybody is up to, but be sure you guys drop a comment and let us know what you guys are up to. Share this out to your friends on the social media and message them up. We're out here on this YouTube thing. Ooh, it's a crazy weekend. I dropped, we were talking briefly about it, Chucky. I dropped a reaction trailer to the Chucky thing. Y'all have to watch it. I mean, it it looks promising. I ain't gonna lie. It looks more promising than the movie.
It does. I'm interested in it because it takes us into the life of somebody else, which kind of they did towards the end of the franchise when you get to, what was it, Curse of Chucky, which was, I really enjoyed Curse of Chucky. And I didn't mind Cult of Chucky. That one got a lot of hate. So I'm looking forward to this.
Yep. Now, to, we got Jim Smither here. Say good evening, everyone. Good evening, Jim.
Hello.
Liz says, hey guys. Hey Liz.
Hey.
Daniel says we are live. Hey Sergeant Phantasm. Hey Daniel.
Hey.
Lovely Lena says howdy do from East LA. Howdy do to you too. East LA. Man, that's
right.
the thing about the internet. It makes the world a very small place.
That's right, because we're talking to you all the way from clear across the country.
Shoot, yeah. We're going to talk about Halloween Kills tonight, but I want to start out with, they made us wait. They had the movie finished. They made us wait a year because they didn't want to do it on streaming, which I think that was a huge mistake. If they'd have dropped Halloween Kills on Halloween last year when we had nothing to do because of COVID, put a $19.99 price tag on it. I mean, hell, even what's that? I'm gonna mispronounce it, but Corella, the Disney movie.
Yeah,
they got $29.99 on that one. So I mean, Blumhouse could have dropped it for $29.99 on Halloween, and we would have all bought it.
That's true. I'm not even really excited about the movie. I haven't really been since they announced the two sequels, but I would have bought it and watched it at home for Halloween. Absolutely.
So they did Halloween 2018. They waited a couple of years. 2020 was supposed to be the year that we come out with Halloween Kills. It's a 3-part series they're going to do. Now, just to recap, what was your thoughts on the Halloween 2018?
I really, really like Halloween 2018. I know our thoughts on it differ, but I've said it before. I'll say it again. I think it's a love letter to the fans. I love especially all the little details in there and the Easter eggs. And I mean, is it the greatest storyline and plot? No, of course it's not. It's a horror movie. I don't come to horror for plots and storylines. So.
What? I want a good plot and a storyline and a lot of murder.
I mean, it always helps. It always helps.
I mean, you guys watching, did y'all like the 2018 Halloween? Because I think that's, before we can discuss Halloween Kills, I think that's what we got to start out with. For me, of course, it looked nice. You got Jamie Lee Curtis. I hated the fact that they just going to ignore all the other parts, make it a direct sequel. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's something that I was curious about, from the audience at large, because I just rewatched Halloween H2O, which is another movie that I really, really love. And I kind of like that one kept with the original eventual storyline of the siblings, as opposed to, like you said, 2018, it was just back to the babysitter killer kind of thing.
Daniel says, I guess you wanted me to go with my box set rant, Daniel. I ain't buying another that gone box set nowhere. I'm tired of them repackages and trying to sell me box sets. I said it last week. I'm going to take that money and buy some indie films. I bought a movie called Butchers out of Canada. I'll do a video to show you guys some of the stuff that I got, but I'm tired of giving Scream Factory, Shout Factory my money for them to repackage shit and give it to me, or crap and give it to me. I don't want no more Halloween box sets, no more Friday the 13th. Heck, I got Friday the 13th on VHS, beta, Laserdisc, DVD. I don't need no more. I want the next hot indie film, and if you got a hot indie film, don't give me no garbage now, but if you got a hot indie film, message the Sarge and let me know. I will watch it. Comment and let me know the name of it. I'll check it out if it's worth anything, but it is what it is. But that's my box set rant. I understand that y'all want to collect them. You collect them, but when I look around in my house and I literally, Friday the 13th, Laserdisc, Halloween, Laserdisc, VHS, obviously you can't get the newer ones on VHS. Well, actually, I've seen some fan sites where they're making the bootleg on VHS on some of them, but it is what it is. But going back to...
I have a suggestion. Phantasm is just re-released, that set, including the Sentinel Spear. Then again, I might be biased with that suggestion. But Phantasm, definitely. It's a beautiful set.
Says, I like 2018 because it doesn't give a method to Michael's evil. He's just plain evil, and that's scarier. I always think that that's scarier in any horror movie. I know he's probably talking about, Rob Zombie's Halloween, where, I just look at that as like, Rob Zombie's Halloween for me is like, what if Halloween got rednecked up? That's the Rob Zombie film. I like it. It is what it is. It's the rednecked up Halloween. But it took away the core component of Michael Myers' scariness of him just being the average guy next door that went crazy and snapped on people.
Exactly, because no wonder that kid is a murderer. No wonder that kid kills people, kills his sister and stuff, because look at his life. So I totally agree with that.
I do wild things. My homeboy Norman. What's up, Sarge? What's up, Big Norm out in Spring Hope, North Carolina? Woo! They got some scary places in Spring Hope. We're gonna go out there and probably film some more horror stuff out there.
Nice.
Jay Stahl says, this Jackal's Basement, Lugosi's Revenge here on my civilian account. Well, we appreciate you.
Definitely. Thank you.
Jim says, LOL box set. That's a trigger word for me now. Y'all ought to know that box set's that trigger word for me. I give the money to an Indiegogo or just take it and film a horror movie myself. I mean, I got probably thousands of dollars. I probably got enough money in my DVD collection to buy to make another horror movie.
Oh, I would watch a horror movie that you made. If you made a horror movie, I would totally watch it.
Art said, nice mask. I guess he's referring to you, Phantasm. I'm sorry. Don't be mean on here, Phantasm.
I tried,
Jim says, what I do like about the box sets is the bonus material. No, they set that up. They said, well, we'll do a box set. We'll talk about that another day. But, yeah, it is what it is. But for me, Halloween 2018, I wasn't happy with the people that chose to be involved in it. But I think it looks like a good film. I didn't like that Michael Myers and was not her sister. And I didn't like that. Let's face it. They're not going to let the guy bring the mask into the insane asylum and be like, here, Michael. And what was that, like a socially distanced checkerboard where they're all chained up out there? Now, think about this. I've been in places like that before. Not for long, but in places like that. They don't chain you down like that. They put you in little cages because you don't want to be the custodial staff that has to chain Michael's leg to that little weight. That's why they don't do it that way. They never done it that way, probably not another 30 years. They take you out in handcuffs. If you're a big old boy like me, they put the cuffs on you in the front with the belt around you. One escorts you on each side, but one in the rear watching you with like a electronic, shocker. They get
Right.
you into the wreck cage, and then you stick your hand through the trap door, and they take them off, and then you wreck. So that's what killed it for me. It looked cinematic, but it was not realistic.
Yeah, I get that. I recently had a conversation with friends at Mad Monster Party, kind of about my stance on going to the movies right now and just movies in general, which is I want to be entertained. Ultimately, like I want to be entertained. And so I had to like kind of just have a who cares type attitude. But of course that stands out. It's like, well, that's like a weird yard for them to get recreation in. Like, of course it doesn't make sense. It always stood out to me that I have a friend in the what is it, Department of Justice or something like that, and that's how he got the mask. And it's like, well, having a friend doesn't mean you can just walk out with a mask. So I totally get
one of the number one collectible. That'd be Murderville collectible up the yin yang right there. That thing would probably be worth about 20. I mean, if a Gacy painting can be worth upward of $10,000, a Gacy mask, like a real life serial killer mask, would probably be $20,000-$30,000. They wouldn't have gave that guy that thing. You know?
Yeah. So I mean, but if I don't look at it for like accuracy and like realism, I have like a really good time. I paid note to where, they get a call, the deputy gets a call over the radio. It's to go to 707 Meridian. Well, that's the original address of the Myers house. So paying that kind of respect to the franchise, that's what I really took away from the movie.
We got one of them Myers houses here in North Carolina. Some young fella out in the middle of the country built a Michael Myers house. It's pretty spooky.
That's awesome. You should go there, do a live from there. I'd love it.
Elizabeth says, me too, Sarge. Me too, make a horror movie, Sarge.
Yep.
Jay Stahl says, Halloween 2018 was kind of half and half for me, but the latest trailer was pretty badass, I have to admit. Now, it felt like Laurie Strode was Sarah Connors in the 2018 for me.
Yeah.
And she set up all these traps for him. And at the end of Halloween 2018, Michael is in the basement. The house is on fire. But you know they're not going to kill off Michael in that first Halloween movie because they've cut a 3-picture deal. So when people says, how does Michael Myers survive? He survives from the power of Hollywood.
That's actually it. That's the truth.
They're going to come back and they're going to come in there and they're going to make him survive. But you hear him breathing at the end credits. So and then you see this new teaser with them riding away and she's screaming,
let it burn.
It's like I expected her to jump up and be like, the roof is on fire. That's what I kind of thought what that thing was going to go. But she's like, let it burn. So they go out there to save him. And of course, Michael done figured out a guy to get out of that basement.
Oh, yeah.
So when the firefighters come in, he's going to kill him. Then that's going to get him an axe. So then that starts his killing spree back home. Or back to the hospital, because it kind of had a part 2-ish homage feel to it.
That I saw that too. I noted that too. And so it got me wondering, like, oh wait, so are they gonna just kind of recreate it? Obviously, part 3 in the original franchise has nothing to do with the rest of it, but I mean, I am curious. Is it cool to see some of the characters, the original characters, come back? Yeah, that's really cool. But I'm still just not quite there excited about it. I had genuinely hoped they would end it at the end of 2018. I just like, okay, let that be it. But, wishful thinking.
Now, Jorge, I think I pronounced that right.
Yep.
Said, Phantasm is Death Chunk. I made it. Death Chunk, what's up?
Hey, boo. And my best friend's on here too, so I got to tell her, hey, what's up, girl?
And Jim says, I think 2018, it was a little too far out. The new doctor killing the cop. I mean, I give them applause for trying to put a plot twist in there, because nobody is ever going to top the performance from the original Dr. Loomis, you know.
Oh, Donald Pleasance, of course.
Jim says, I really like Halloween 6 producer's cut. Andrew says, hi all. Hi, Andrew.
Hi.
We got Halloween Daily News in the building. Welcome, Halloween Daily News. They say Phantasm is right. 2018 was done with so much love and respect. Love it.
Thank you.
But my thing is did y'all, I kind of got hurt that they ignored the other parts. I mean, I get what they're doing. It's a cash, you know, entertainment is a business at the end of the day. It's the entertainment business. It's
Right.
not the movie making business, it's entertainment. When you get an intellectual property like Michael Myers and Halloween, you got to make a movie out of it. Because I ain't going to lie. If they called me tomorrow and said, you got the rights to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I'm making the hell out of that movie. You know?
Right.
But and they want to introduce Michael to a new generation, fresh, you know, blood, so to speak, and breath into the franchise. But they could have done it in such a way, like if you're going to ignore all the other parts, stop putting Easter eggs in to remind us of all the other parts. Like in the teaser, they got the Easter eggs from, what was that? The Night of the Witches one. Isn't that Night of the Witches?
Season of the Witch, part
Season
3.
of the Witch.
Tom
It had
Atkins.
something to do with a witch, with the flashing pumpkin thing on the TV. Ooh, you know,
Yeah,
I mean,
almost time, kids.
so they put those masks in there. Halloween Daily News says the Myers house NC is awesome. I got to go out there. I think they're kind of close to me.
Definitely.
Daniel says he was kind of superhuman in that fire. I would agree with that. And my fear, and do you have this fear, Phantasm, is are they going to make Michael Myers so superhuman in part 2, Halloween Kills, that it's going to ruin it?
I can see that possibility. Already, I kind of saw that they were maybe alluding to that in the trailer, the extended trailer that came out. So that's part of my disinterest already. That's almost fast forwarding to the one where, what was it, the cult? Oh my God, I'm going to get crucified for forgetting the Thorn. Got it.
The Thorn cult, yeah.
Yeah, and how, like by then we were already exploring his supernatural kind of gifts and stuff. And even a moment ago, I was going to joke about, I shot him 6 times, kind of his ability to, withstand what would kill obviously everybody else. So,
well, I think that they're good because, we can only speculate, and you guys have opinions like we have opinions. Feel free to share them because this is a venue where, all opinions are pretty much welcome. But in my opinion, when she's sitting in the granddaughter sitting in the back of that truck and she's got the knife and she's kind of like looking, I think it's the granddaughter or the daughter has the knife. It kind of gave me that whole flashback to Danielle Harris's character being controlled by Michael. I wonder, they could go that route.
Yeah, I mean, we have had this conversation before where kind of even in stills or a still from like a previous clip kind of looked like a slight frame that could indicate possibly, well, what if it's the granddaughter? I mean, who knows at this point? It could have been a totally misleading, because it seems like the newest trailer gave a lot of information about the movie and they could totally be misleading us. So who knows?
And Hollywood does that. They mislead the crap out of it. I mean, Look at American Horror Story, people. They have put out 20 trailers before the new season, and the season won't have nothing to near do nothing.
Exactly.
But I mean, I do feel like they're trying to hype up the body count. I mean, they really have to revive this thing for making us wait another year. Because I'm not going to go to the theaters to see it. I probably will. I'll probably sneak in, but I ain't going to give them my money to go. But because I ain't giving them my money. But my whole thing with it is, if you want to ignore the other parts, stop putting the Easter eggs in and come up with something original. I will be so disappointed, and you guys let me know will you be so disappointed that they do the whole Thorn cult and the granddaughter now has the feelings of Michael and trying to pass the torch type of thing? You know, would you be disappointed if they did that, Phantasm?
I would be disappointed. I would really it's like if we're gonna reboot it and redo that whole storyline and they're not siblings anymore, which of course they were never intended to be when the first movie was made and John Carpenter and Deborah Hill did all that. It wasn't intended to be that way, but I don't know. I don't know. I would be terribly disappointed if it went that way because already it's a movie I'm not excited about, and it just would seem like a cheap way to kind of. Oh my God, I'm stumbling over myself.
That's okay.
Easy way out. Easy way out. There we go.
Yeah. Jim said, agreed, Daniel, just like part 2, but part 2 didn't occur in the Halloween 2018 storyline. You know, and they filmed that in Wilmington, North Carolina, the Halloween Kills, and I got some people down there that took some pictures and stuff, and we have it on madmonster.com, and it looks like part 2. I mean, it's a hospital because they're going to take everybody to the hospital. Michael's going to kill the fireman and escape out. And then it's going to be some confusion because they're going to be like, you know, where's Michael? And then they're not going to know until the police talk to them at the hospital that Michael is alive. I mean,
yeah, but, it's the third version of Halloween and Michael Myers goes to the hospital. It's the third version of part 2, it seems, because we have the original part 2 and then Rob Zombie's H2 and then now this. So, yeah, it just seems like a comeback.
I don't put Rob Zombie's movies in the Halloween franchise. It's an alternate redneck universe.
Yes.
I don't care what nobody says. Ain't no way in the world Michael Myers is going to be thinking about some white daggone horse with his mama holding it and a young version of him. Michael don't think about stuff like that. I know Michael don't think about stuff like that. Ain't no way in the world. Ain't no way in the world.
Exactly. Was anybody really that curious about the inner machinations going on inside Michael Myers' brain? No, we just want to watch him kill people. Like, that's the long and short of it. Just kill people. Why? I don't know.
Because it's a horror movie, and that's what we expect. We expect Michael, Jason, and let me get to some of these comments, and I'll throw this out here because they're building up. Yeah. Did I hear correct? They couldn't get the original Tommy Doyle in the next Halloween. I don't know. I didn't keep up with it enough to know about that. It's possible.
I actually don't know that one either.
And then Daniel says, Sarge, you have any new projects I want a sneak peek? Guys have to wait till the Mad Monster Expo. I might throw something out there. Lord of Thunder says, hi, everyone. Hi, Lord of Thunder. Appreciate you guys joining in.
Hi.
And Jim Smith said, how did Michael bring the dead dad in the house at the end so quickly and put him in the closet? I agree.
That was really okay. You know, I am going to speak on that real quick. There was one qualm that I did have about Halloween 2018, and there were a lot of really weak male characters, and I quite frankly didn't care for that. I dig the women's empowerment and, you know, kill Michael and trap him and all that stuff, but I that part kind of turned me off. And that reminded me of it because he mentioned that the dad was just kind of folded up in the closet kind of thing. So.
And Daniel says, Michael's superhuman would ruin it. Because, you know, when we look at the Friday the 13th franchise, I mean, Jason is essentially a zombie. So is Michael getting ready to be a zombie? I mean, you talking about, they took this thing and said, okay, we got the original Halloween. Then we got 40 years later, this Halloween 2018. Then 41 years later, you have, so how old would Michael be? Like 50, 60 years old?
Yeah.
And around like that, ain't no way in heck. Ain't no way. So they
That's
give him
really
this
interesting.
superhuman powers. And Elizabeth said they've already made him superhuman to the point where it ruined it for me. Just die, daggone it. And Jim said, I agree, Daniel. Liz says all the best parts are probably in the trailer. I think Blumhouse is smart enough not to give us the best parts because I think they're going to have a pretty good kill count in this, and they're relying on the kill count. And one of the lines in the teaser that got me was she said, the more he kills, like the stronger he gets type of thing. And
yeah.
And I'm like, oh, what is he sucking the soul life out of them? Is he supernatural? And it's like, oh, I take their power. You know, I mean, I understand bloodlust and like the more you kill, the more it is, the more funner it is to kill, and you get worked up in a frenzy.
Right.
But I mean,
you like that's what she was referring to. Yeah.
This kid went crazy and stabbed his family as a kid. Then he broke out of a mental institution and killed some people. So he doesn't really have any tactical or fighting training. He's just a big old boy that just come at you with a knife.
Yeah.
So it ain't like he's a superhuman that they made it out to be. He might be resilient, but you know, when you make him that unstoppable, it's like something's got to be unstoppable. And I know they're like, oh, you can't kill the boogeyman. But I mean, I think the TV show Supernatural kind of proved you could kill the boogeyman. I mean, hell, they had so many kings of hell and the devils and gods and all that get killed on that. Let me see. Said he was shot 6 times, got up, walked away. Give me a break. He's superhuman. What's the big deal? That's what made him scary to begin with. I mean, for some, that is like something that you can't kill. It can be scary, but then you got to ask what happened that made him where he could not be killed. What made him superhuman? Then I feel like if you take that approach, then you owe me a backstory.
Like Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger is ultimately, to me, the scariest because I've always thought I can jump on a plane and fly away from like Michael Myers or Jason, and maybe eventually they'll find me, but how are you going to escape your dreams and sleep? We've seen in movie after movie where eventually, even when you're awake, he'll get you. So, so yeah, exactly. There's no backstory there. Or, I don't know. Wait,
and Jim says, I will be disappointed in Thorn play again. Haven't we went today that road in part 6? I agree, but it's so thin. Because Hollywood's in this program now where they try to be, I'm just going to say it, they try to be woke in all movies, especially horror movies. And horror is not a political, horror's like should be a guilty pleasure to make you forget about the politics and the crap that's going on. You just want to sit down and not think about politics, not think about all the chaos and stuff, and just enjoy some good old wholesome violence.
And just
but Hollywood on this kick is like, you know, I get the women empowerment in Halloween 2018 because women can fight. I know that for a fact. Women are good fighters. And I'm wondering, this is just me thinking, are they going to try to create a female Michael Myers with the granddaughter?
Oh. That would, I mean, it would be interesting. It would be interesting, but I could see where maybe they're still going for that. I'm under the impression that we haven't seen what the movie's actually about, even though they gave us a whole lot in that trailer.
I mean, what is Tommy Doyle going to come back and essentially be the kid from Friday the 13th that cuts his hair off and acts like he's little Jason and kills Jason? I mean, was that Corey, one of the 2 Corys? I mean, that seems like what they're going to try to do is like a grown Tommy Doyle's going to come back. What Tommy do? Did he go in the military and get some training and take jujitsu and now he can whoop Michael? I mean, if Laurie Strode, if Jamie, after all that stuff she had at her house, if Jamie couldn't kill Michael, I don't think Tommy. That kind of be sexist to bring Tommy back and be like, let's let the guy answer. You know.
Well, I mean, I'd have been into it maybe if they could have gotten the Paul Rudd version of Tommy Doyle to come back. I mean, he's Ant-Man, right? So.
Yeah. Said Sergeant Hart, have you seen Fear Street on Netflix? Unfortunately, yes.
Oh.
Jay Styles says, I think Michael specifically works best when it's just unexplained and something that could happen. I agree to an extent. Julia says Michael punted the dad in the closet. That's how he got him in there so fast. I love the scene in 2018 where he was in Mr. Elrod's yard with the motion lights.
That was great.
Ever since Lights Out did that, they always incorporate that whole flicking light thing in most horror movies. Have you all noticed that?
Oh. I hadn't even made that comparison. Okay, I can see that.
And Lovely said Jamie Lee Curtis reminded me of Sarah Connor in T2 and the Terminator Dark Fate. Exactly. I agree with that 100%. Since 2018 lacked suspense. It just was the Sarah Connors. It was the Sarah Connors Halloween. But if 2018 was Sarah Connor's Halloween, then what is Halloween Kills? What is it? Is it just an unadulterated Michael Myers killing spree? And then if they're not brother and sister, then why does he want to kill her so damn bad? Is she just the one that got away?
Right. Like, does he have a checklist? I have a friend that he doesn't like to get posters signed because once he starts, he wants to get everybody in the cast signed. So maybe that's Michael's intentions as well. It's like, no, I started killing all these babysitters. I have to kill this one too.
Just the babysitter that got away. But then what is Michael sitting there off camera somewhere Googling and trying to figure out where she lives?
Maybe he's got like a Kill Bill checklist and
Jim says, fun fact, in the original part 1, when Michael is on top of the ambulance and smashes his hand into the passenger front window, you could see a wrench in his hand to break the glass.
Nice. I actually like to go walking up there. I don't live very far from where they filmed that up at Lake Hollywood. It's always cool. It's like walking into Smith's Grove, except not, which would really be fun in reality.
And Norman says, why can't there be a new killer? I agree. Like, why? I'm wondering, are you meaning why can't there be a new Michael Myers and they rebrand the killer as a female? I don't have a problem with that if that's where they want to go with it. But I think Hollywood needs to invest in where is the next big thing? Like, who is the next Michael Myers? Who is the next Pinhead? Not just rebooting these properties, but turning around and giving us someone original,
Yeah. Go ahead.
He says, if you daydream, can Freddy get you? Yes. Anytime you reach that subconscious state, Freddy could get you. Tyler said, yeah, I figured it out. The original Tommy was a huge liability, lots of personal issues, kind of went off the deep end.
Ah. Okay, so they are including the Tommy Doyle character then, or are they just bypassing that?
They're making us think that they're including it.
I don't know. This is just like the what is it? The Two Towers, the Lord of the Rings movie, the one that comes in the middle. Like no matter what happens in this one, yeah, but no matter what happens in this one, just know that there's still something coming in that third movie. And I kind of lose my interest with that as well because I'm like, well, no matter what happens at the end, I'm gonna have to wait like another year.
And from what I understood, I thought how the third one, Halloween Ends, is in the can too, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, yes.
Daniel said the mask could be the thing that makes him superhuman. Look how Michael responds to the mask when he's locked up. That could be a unique thing. Is the mask makes him superhuman? And Halloween Daily News makes a good point. It says Loomis always says this isn't a man. Laurie is the new Loomis.
Oh,
That's a good way to think of it. Laurie is the new Loomis. I mean, I don't think that Laurie would have stayed boxed up like that and basically became Sarah Connors and forsake her family and all that. I could see her wanting to figure out and going back to school and being a psychiatrist or something and actually becoming the new Loomis.
right.
But I get it that Michael is not a man. He's supposed to be the boogeyman, the embodiment of evil, and you can't kill evil itself.
Right.
But when you're presenting this in the case of this is a man, he doesn't speak. He just comes at you with a knife. No matter what you do, you can't stop him. So to the typical person, that's kind of scary. To me, I'm like, okay, I'm going to chain that sucker up, get the chainsaw out or the axe, and I'm going to cut him into pieces and best of luck to him. I'm going to put the Michael Myers mask back there in the collection and do another live feed on that monster. That's what my thinking is,
Right. That's actually,
kill.
I actually really liked and yet am terrified of the movie The Collector for that reason, because it seems like, and mind you, I haven't gotten past the first like 30 minutes, because what I saw was that he had so many booby traps that were exactly, I have that like survivalist thinking too. Like when I watch a horror movie, this is how I would get out of the situation. And that character, that villain, slasher, whatever, he thought of everything I would have done. And I was like, oh man, and that was truly terrifying to me, to think that everything that I would like, it's, the Freddy Krueger thing. You can't escape that. Others you can. So I don't know.
Jay Styles says, got to scoot. It was a real pleasure chatting. Can't wait for the next one. Appreciate you joining. Everybody that watches, be sure you subscribe to the channel. Subscribe. Jim Smith said another good scene, 2018 scene, was when the babysitter tried closing the closet. Michael was in there.
That was good. I like that.
Daniel says Rob Zombie needs to make an original horror movie and not step into another franchise. I probably disagree with you, because I think those people, I forget which ones had it, whoever had the rights to Texas Chainsaw Massacre should have either called me or Rob Zombie. Those are the only two people that could have did that justice.
I don't always care for all of his movies, but I would watch the hell out of a Rob Zombie directed Texas Chainsaw Massacre. If there was ever a director made for that franchise, it's him, and Sergeant Horror, of course. But I would totally watch that.
I do Wild Film says, no, I want a whole new character. I agree with you. We need more new characters. I've watched some good indie stuff, and I mean, I know we had some people like Art the Clown, but that's not quite on the same level as a Michael. I think the last time that we've had somebody that I would say that meets the Michael, Freddy, Jason, Chucky, Pinhead would be Captain Spaulding.
Okay.
I really like what Sid did with that character and how that he played out. I've always thought that Spaulding deserved his own movie, and I think Rob really screwed up by not doing that.
Right.
Anthony Michael Hall played Tommy.
Love it. Oh, that's right. Love it. Okay. And I think for me, the last great slasher, or this particular part or section of horror, I would have to say Victor Crowley is the one for me. Hatchet. I'm super crazy for Hatchet.
Nah, that's just Jason, because they couldn't make another Jason.
Well, yeah, it's still fun though. It's got some of the most fun, entertaining kills. Death by belt sander. I like it.
If they did Victor Crowley Takes Manhattan, then I'll get excited. But until then, I ain't getting excited.
And then he's going to space.
Or Victor Crowley X. Lindsay Wallace is going to be in it with the original person that played her. That's good. We confirmed at Mad Monster that PJ Souls is going to also be in the new Halloween. We're not sure in what capacity because she was in 2018. If you remember the classroom scene, she was the voice of the teacher that was talking about fate. But it'd be nice to actually see her in there. Elizabeth said The Collector is awesome. Can't wait for the third film. That's probably the most anticipated horror movie in my book that I want to go see. It is The Collector. The Collected is part 3 of that. Marcus Dunstan is an extremely talented director. He wrote most of the Saw movies, and for people that are not familiar with him, check him out. Marcus Dunstan. He's the guy that pretty much fixes a lot of people's script in Hollywood and doesn't get credit for it.
Right. And since you are the Clown Pig Sergeant Horror, and you mentioned the Saw franchise, real quick, what did you think of Spiral?
It seemed like more of a fan film than an addition to the series.
Fair enough.
I liked the new little pig puppet thing. I was like, okay, at least they did their own thing. But it looked like an expensive Chris Rock fan film. And it's not bad. If he got the rights, they made money off of it. And I love the New Jack City references in there. And I mean, you gotta love Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, say what one more time? I mean, but I mean, it was very predictable by the numbers. I like that director. Name's Daniel. What is it? Daniel Lee Bozeman. He's a very talented director that I'd like to see them do more with. I think he has a lot of potential, but I just think their weakness was in the script. It was very, very predictable. Ryan Cassidy says, "Hey, Sergeant Horror and Phantasm. Hey, Ryan, appreciate you joining in." Jim says, Phantasm, what are your space station movie? What's everybody else's? So if you guys know, if you were in a space station and you could only bring one movie, what would that movie be?
Oh, that's awesome. So I'm Phantasm 420 for a reason. I would take Phantasm. Phantasm would be it. It covers every genre for me. It's, it's got suspense, you got family, you got some laughs, you got action, science fiction, horror, and Angus Scrimm. Reggie Bannister, you can't go wrong with that. That is my space station.
Jim says maybe Rob Zombie could redo The People Under the Stairs.
That could be interesting.
Says, I do agree with that. A Texas Chainsaw done by Rob would be a very welcome exception. Liz says, People Under the Stairs reboot. I don't know if Rob would do well, but they could bring Roach back.
Sean Whalen, yeah.
I'd like to see Rob Zombie do something wicked. This Way Comes. He would just redneck that up too much. And I like Rob, but he is what he is. He's a one-trick pony. He's from I think Connecticut, which I don't think they have rednecks like we do in North Carolina. Trust me, they do not. But he's supposedly the film expert on rednecks. No sirree. I hated that Roach had to die. Lords of Thunder says Hatchet is a great movie, though I haven't finished it.
I mean, the sequels aren't that strong, but it's still a good time, and lots of horror legends in those sequels. Lots and lots of horror people. And
that's one of the things that ticks me off is, I do commend Blumhouse for bringing back our horror icons and putting them in the Halloween series. I was very disappointed with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre that they didn't bring back an original Leatherface, or that they didn't bring back Ed Neal as the hitchhiker, or Bill Moseley as Chop Top. I don't know if the rights to those characters don't convey with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but could you imagine a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie? The way I would do it, to be honest with you, is I'd bring back Ed Neal and his twin brother, Chop Top, and it would be a gruesome freaking movie. It would be a massacre, you know.
As intended, as intended. That's why that word is in the name of the movie.
You know what? Rob Zombie could turn anything into gold. I just want to see some original magic from him. I think the original magic that we saw from him was House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects, and I thank him for that. For people that don't know this about Rob, he made 31 as a joke. This is his words. He's like pitching all these movie ideas that nobody gets but Rob, maybe because they're not freaking marketable, Rob. And then he's like, I bet you I could make a movie and get it funded from the fans on just something basic where 4 people get taken by clowns and killed on Halloween. And the fans funded 31. So when 31. So when he's like, oh, it took so long to make 3 from Hell, you could have took that budget from 31 and made 3 from Hell. I mean, hell, Rob Zombie's worth $45 million according to the internet. He can make any daggone movie he wants to. But he wants to make movies on other people's budget, which is the Hollywood game.
True.
Only us crazy indie people make movies on our own money. Jim says, fantastic. Okay, we talked about that. Julia says, I think that's because of how much technology we have in the world now. It's hard to make a new bad guy because how plausible is it that someone like Michael, like Jason, Michael, or any of the OG's horror characters? Trust me, people are out there killing people all the time right now. People disappear all the time. It is not hard to disappear somebody. Look at the Samuel guy, the serial killer that was out there that recently died in prison that killed over 90 people, and he confessed to most of those. You can kill and not get caught. The problem is you can't kill and stay at Camp Crystal Lake. You know, you got to kill and get gone. Can't leave no DNA. Can't do it.
Because all of us horror fans are like crime scene experts.
Because nobody wants to get caught. I feel like the movie Friend Request would be the new horror style. I hope not. God knows. Favorite kill from all Halloween movies?
Oh.
When he puts that kid and hangs him up on the wall, because y'all see that meme all the time where it's like, it's never too early to hang your Halloween decorations.
That's funny. Oh.
What's yours?
Oh my gosh, I'm like going through all of the movies right now. Oh, I like when he kills Tina. I think that's in part 4, mostly because I just can't stand that character. But so that's my favorite Halloween kill.
Chum said, I like to see another good sci-fi horror movie like Event Horizon or Aliens. Yeah, those just take so much money to make. And I think the problem we have right now is the movie business is messed up. The studios and even hit harder are independent filmmakers. It's hard to come up with a movie idea, get funding for it, make the movie, and actually make the money back. You have, look at AMC's Walking Dead. They cheated the guy out of $200 million and had to settle a lawsuit over that. It's all about. It's hard to make $1. It's hard to make your money back, especially when you're a lower budget movie. And Blumhouse, in all fairness, anything in Hollywood that's under like $6 to $2 million. I mean, according to SAG rules, anything under $2 million is considered indie low budget. Which, to me, I'd hate to see. If I had $2 million, I'd show y'all about 4 or 5 horror movies. It's not it's not hard to make them. I mean, but it is what it is, and it's hard. I mean, people aren't buying DVDs and physical media like they are streaming. I mean, Amazon Prime are only paying indie filmmakers 1 cent an hour for their movies on Prime.
Oh, geez.
So it's really a tough situation when it comes to the music industry the movie industry, because it costs so much more money to make a movie than it does an album. That at least people that are making the albums can spit that stuff out for a few $1,000s, depending on what they're doing. But movies, it's just hard. It's just getting harder. Walmart's not carrying DVDs like they used to. It's tough, and we as fans are going to have to decide what art we're going to support and how we're going to support it, because they're not going to continue to be able to make big budget stuff unless there's some support from the fans. I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
Jim says, Sarge and Phantasm, thoughts on physical media? You all still buying?
Yep, I still rent too. Yep.
I'll buy digital media too sometimes, and I'll rent digital media. I do not port. I do not bootleg, especially indie movies, because you're cheating the filmmaker. And if you want movies to still be created, you have to support the filmmakers to some extent. I have stopped buying major studio release DVDs because I feel like they just throw out a Blu-ray or DVD and they're going to set on the bonus material for 3, 4, 5 years and try to sell me some stupid expanded director's, producer's cut when they should have put all that stuff out there to begin with. So I've been adding indie films to my collection and supporting indie films by buying indie DVDs. And if we want to see the next original killer, that's what we got to do, is get behind some of these indie filmmakers that have quality and get that. But if they do away with physical media and horror people stop buying physical media, it's just going to kill the movie industry.
Yeah, I can see that. It seems like right now, mostly who buys physical media are the actual collectors, the people who have that one movie in like every version that there is. Because I mean, yeah, I don't want to buy something and then 6 months later, oh dang, I really wanted this version instead. So but I also believe very strongly in small business, which is why I try to buy when I can. There's a place over here on the west side, Cinephile, and they have thousands of titles that they tout as not available for streaming, as an incentive to get people to come inside. So not only am I getting a chance to watch something that maybe I can't see on my TV at home just with my remote, and then I also get to support like a small business and stimulate the economy, all that stuff.
That's good. Well, we've been going at this a little while. I appreciate everybody tuning in. You got any I guess the last question I want to ask you would be, how do you think Michael is going to survive Halloween Kills so that he can be in Halloween Ends, or is he going to even be in Halloween Ends?
I think he's going to get assistance. I think just like the doctor helped him get out of the asylum, I think that he's going to have groupies. Just like you said, the mask would be worth like thousands of dollars online. So I think that he's going to somehow get assistance. And besides that, just real quick, I wanted to take a moment to say rest in peace, Biz Markie. I'm so saddened by that news recently. So
he was young too.
Yeah.
He was young. Oh, baby, you. I think he was 57, true hip hop legend. I'm a huge hip hop fan, and when I saw that, I was like, because hip hop has taken a hit recently. I mean, we've lost Shock G, who played Humpty Hump from Digital Underground. There's been so many names I've seen come across. I can't remember them all, but Biz Markie and Shock G are the last two that I remember just this year.
Yeah, well, DMX even too. Like
DMX, that's right.
So I wear a lot of black and I like a lot of metal and stuff, but hip hop is where my heart is. So I wanted to take a moment because I don't assume that horror fans aren't also Biz Markie fans. So make the music with your mouth, Biz. Just a moment for him.
Well, guys, I appreciate everybody watching. Be sure you're liking and subscribing to our YouTube channel here. Spread the word. Spread the word. We need you guys so we can keep doing these things. And, it's fun just to get to hang out all the time and sit around and talk about some horror movies. Be sure to drop a comment if there's any type of videos you'd like to see from us. Turn on the notifications because you never know what we're going to have on here. You guys take care. Sergeant Horror for Mad Monster, and I'm out.